All right. Hi, everyone. Great to see you all here. And we are going to get started on our webinar for today, which is on how to unlock AI funding for businesses through OCI. And so in this webinar, as we're getting started here, everybody's kind of popping in. I'll get you guys, whoever's coming in, let's make sure the chat's working. So everybody put in, like what industry are you from? What brings you here today? And then as we're going, I'll do some, housekeeping. And if you haven't been here before, hi, my name is Cecilia Turnbull. I am one of the program managers for the World Trade Center Toronto. And I'll get us started going here. So first things first, a little bit of housekeeping for everybody. If you've been here before, you already know this. For those who are new, first off, we have two areas to communicate in our webinars. The one is the chat, general chat, which I've mentioned, right? So popping in your industry there and, why you're here. And that one's for general discussion. And then for your actual questions towards the speakers, if you can put it in the Q&A area. So there is a Q&A box area, and I'll just be sending it, if you put it in the chat, I'll just remind you to send it to Q&A. It's mainly just that if there's kind of a lot of things going on, it's a much easier way for us to be able to get to your question. Other than that, we are going to be recording this session, and there will be all of the slides that you'll see will be in a follow-up email. So you'll receive the recording and the slides in a follow-up email. And if we don't get to your questions today, or we're not able to make it through, you can definitely email us, or if any questions come up afterwards, please do feel free to email us afterwards at wtc@bot.com, and we will either redirect your question to the right people, and we'll also be leaving our speakers information in the follow-up email so that you can reach out to them directly with anything that you'd like to ask. Now, I want to start this off today by giving acknowledgement of the land that we're meeting on, which is the traditional territory of many nations across Turtle Island, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. And we also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. So, who are we to help out? The World Trade Center, Toronto specifically, is the trade services of the scale-up arm of the Toronto Region Board of Trade, and the Toronto Region Board of Trade being the Chamber of Commerce. And so, what we offer here is really a lot of the programming and events that center around helping small to medium businesses grow and accelerate, which is typically internationally, but as well as domestically, right? So, a lot of our programs are here to service our community and also build as kind of a hub, right? So that everybody has the ability to reach out to us, and then we can connect you with other people as well. We do this through a lot of different ways, and specifically in this case, our AI Business Catalyst. So this was targeted specifically for AI services to help companies, put this within their business. How can it help you with a bunch of different areas for AI specifically? And what are the available tools? And this was, we're looking at a lot of different leadership, but typically our programming is towards founders, business owners, and decision makers so that you can kind of implement these strategies throughout your business and in a very meaningful, impactful way. And so the AIBC, as well as our other programming, includes webinars such as this, as well as executive certificates, which are full-day workshops. They're kind of crash courses on different topics. Executive roundtables, which is peer-to-peer discussions with C-suite and founders on AI challenges and opportunities. And then our growth development program, which we actually do have one that is open to apply for, which is coming up in September, which I'll leave a link for, and it'll also be in the follow-up email. And that is a 6-month program, which looks to be as much more tailored, much more customized to each company and how you can implement AI as a strategy within your business, picking kind of a project which you can work on and work through. So yeah, that's just a little bit about us and what it is that we do here. And so I'll keep the housekeeping up here as I go into this. But before we get started into our programming or webinar for today, I wanted to do a few polls here to get a sense of who's in the room and what is everybody interested in. So our first poll for today, I will launch, is how would you describe your team's current use of AI? So we haven't started yet, you're still exploring. We've experimented with a few AI tools. We use AI regularly for some tasks, and AI is embedded across most of our processes. Okay, I'll end the poll there. So lovely to see. So, AI is being used regularly for kind of a good chunk of tasks, which is excellent. All right. So I'm going to ask our next question here. What is your biggest barrier to moving forward with AI? Is it funding or budget, knowing which projects to optimize or prioritize, internal expertise or capacity, data readiness, or finding the right technology partner? So end it there and share some results. So it's looking like, yeah, funding and budget and then internal expertise and capacity. Interesting. Third question here, what other funding and support for AI would you like to know about? Are you interested in knowing about federal funding programs, provincial funding programs, banks, financial institutions, venture capital or angel investors, research institutions, academic partners, technology partners, or implementation providers, or other? And if it's other, let us know in the chat. What is that other? And for this one, obviously pick as many that are applicable. It's a multiple choice. Okay, great. We're going to end that there. Okay, so yeah, more definitely federal, provincial funding programs. And for our last poll here, which of the following AI topics are you most interested in exploring? We have AI foundations, and this is multiple choice, so pick as many that apply. AI for personal productivity for executives, forecasting and procurement, strategy, roadmap development, tools for sales, marketing, business development, cybersecurity, export competitive analysis and market intelligence, or internal workflows and processes. Okay. And the poll there. Excellent. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for everybody who participated in that. It's very helpful for us overall. And so, without further ado, I would like to introduce our presenters for today, Sakuja and Ashni Badal, both managers of business development and commercialization at the Ontario Centre of Innovation, who are here today to tell us all about the AI funding available through OCI. So I'll stop sharing my screen so Ashni, you can share yours and you can take it away from here.
Can we see the screen okay?
I think it's just loading. Yep, good to go.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll pass it over to my colleague Sid. Sid, hi everyone. Excited to talk to you today, but I'll let Sid kick things off.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashni. Thank you, Cecilia, for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Siddhant, and I am at Ontario Centers of Innovation. I'm joined with my colleague Ashni Badal today. Today's session is all about unlocking AI funding for businesses. But before we talk about funding, I want to start with the business question. For most companies, the question is no longer should we care about AI, but the real question is where does AI actually create value for us? Is it improving productivity, reducing manual work, helping with customer services, sales forecasting, automating reporting? You name it, like, right? Everyone's wondering where does AI fit into our businesses right now? And then this leads to a follow-up question. How do we test and adopt AI without wasting our time? So the funny thing is, with the poll that Cecilia mentioned, all of you hit the nail on the head with the funding and internal capacity being some of the major challenges. This is where OCI can help. Today, I want to walk you through the programs that how OCI supports Ontario businesses that are adopting, developing, commercializing, or deploying new technologies, including AI. My goal is simple. By the end of this session, I want you to be able to say, this is the type of AI project we are trying to move forward with, and this is the particular funding pathway at OCI that can help me. Can we go to the next slide, Ashley? Perfect. Before we get into the specific programs, I want to quickly explain what OCI actually does. Uh, I think so. We one slide back. Yeah, perfect. At high level, OCI does three things. We accelerate, we de-risk, and we connect. First, we accelerate the development, commercialization, and adoption of made in Ontario technologies. For today's audience, this matters more because AI is moving very quickly, and many businesses are trying to move from interest to implementation. The ones that are lagging behind are clearly seeing losses and their competitors moving way faster. Second, OCI helps with de-risking innovation. And by de-risking is important because even established businesses faced uncertainty when deploying new technologies. Things like will solutions work? Will the employees use it? Would customers care? So this is where we can come in and we can help you with the funding and the connections to de-risk this. Finally, OCI can help companies test, validate, demonstrate, and adopt technologies before they take the full risk themselves. The OCI does this by connecting you with industry, academia, and government. This connection matters because many innovation projects need more funding. They need the right partner, they need the right technical expertise, they need customer validation, and they need a pathway for commercialization. OCI is funded by the Ministry of Economic Development, Jobs Creation, and Trade. So the broader objective for us is the economic growth of Ontario. So when we talk about AI funding today, the key point is OCI is not only funding technologies, but just because it's new or exciting. The goal is to help Ontario businesses adopt, develop, and commercialize technologies that create jobs, growth, productivity, and competitiveness. Can we go to the next slide, Ashni? Perfect. So this slide gives you a sense of the broader OCI impact. There's a lot of numbers here, so I'll just focus on the story behind them. In 2024-25, we invested north of $150 million in innovation projects, with $90 million in co-investment from industry partners. But the most important point is what the support unlocks. Over the last 6 years, OCI companies have reported almost $4.3 billion in private follow-on sector funding. This matters because good innovation funding should not just cover a portion of the project cost, it should help a company get to the next level with confidence. For a business deploying AI, the next level might be we tested it, we worked, or it's now actively deployed with a commercial partner. So this is what we do at OCI. So when OCI talks about return on innovation, we're talking about revenue, jobs, private investment, commercialization, traction, productivity, and competitiveness. Can we move to the next slide? Perfect. So this slide looks a lot. I'll try and simplify it. Um, you don't need to memorize the different OCI programs. Instead, well, think about your AI project in one of the few buckets. First, are you adopting AI inside your existing businesses? This could mean using AI to improve operations, reporting, customer service, sales, productivity, or decision making. Second, are you building AI-enabled products, platform, or technology? This could be more relevant for technology companies that are commercializing on something new. Third, are we working in a sector where AI is transforming the market? This could include mobility, life sciences, advanced manufacturing, construction, mining, agriculture, cybersecurity, and other critical technologies. Both, do you need an industry partner or a researcher or a workspace, a co-working space with a community of people? That's something where OCI can help you as well. The better way that I feel is the better way to understand the OCI programs, not as one big menu of programs, but different pathways depending on where your company is in its innovation journey. So as we go through the slides, keep on trying and asking yourself, are we trying to adopt AI? Are we trying to build AI? Are we trying to commercialize AI or validate it with a partner? Or are we just looking for industry connections and a community? Once you have that figured out, it'll be a lot easier to go through these funding programs. Now we'll go into all the funding programs one by one in detail, and we move to the next slide. Thank you. So the first one we talk about is Ready for Market. R4M. Oh, sorry, I just saw a chat. The first one we're talking about is R4M. R4M is Ontario's leading pre-seed technology fund. The best way to think about R4M is if you are an early stage Ontario company building an AI-enabled product or a platform and you're raising private capital, R4M might be relevant. This is not only for companies simply buying AI tools for internal use, this is more for companies commercializing on the technology. For the R4M fund, what we look for are suitable companies who are at the pre-seed seed stage level, who are looking to raise $500,000 to $2 million, and are working with academia, either commercializing on academic IP or working with a campus-linked accelerator. This could be any academic institution across Ontario. These are deep tech funds that we're looking at. So one of the major criteria for us is the IP. The reason R4M exists is because pre-seed is very risky. Companies may have a strong technology, commercial interest, and credible founding team, but still need the capital for the next milestone. R4M works through a co-investment model. This means we do not replace private capital. We come alongside private investors to help de-risk the opportunity further. The program has shown some strong outcomes, including significant internal sales revenue, private sector follow-on investments, and jobs created. So AI founders or investors in the room, the practical question is, are you building a scalable AI company? And are you raising investment capital? If yes, R4M might be a pathway worth exploring. Can we move to the next slide? With that, I'll move into the Life Sciences Fund. Similarly to R4M, this is a co-investment fund where we go up to $500,000 in investment. Again, the suitability for this particular fund is we're looking to participate in round sizes that are million to 3 million or above. We come in with $500,000. We're looking at three major verticals within the life sciences sector. So companies that are either developing products in medical devices, therapeutics, or digital health platforms. These companies would essentially be eligible. And if you're looking to raise a pre-seed round, we'd love to talk to you to see if we can help you through the Life Sciences Fund. It helps de-risk potential Ontario life sciences companies and attract private sector money. The fund was first launched in 2022, and additional funding was announced in the 2025 budget. So far, we've done over 30 investments with $63 million total in investments and 48 million in private sector co-investment. So the question again here is, are you solving a meaningful life sciences healthcare problem? And do you have a credible path for validation and commercialization? If you do, then this is a fund that could help you. Can we move to the next slide? So OVIN, Ontario Vehicles Innovation Network. At a first glance, you might look at vehicle innovation and think that this is only for automotive companies. But the future of mobility is heavily technology-driven and increasingly AI-driven. AI shows up in connected vehicles, autonomous vehicles, fleet optimization, predictive maintenance, charging infrastructures, logistics, cybersecurity, sensors, and data analytics. So if your company is building a technology that touches mobility, transportation, EVs, smart infrastructure, or autonomous systems, OVIN may be relevant. OVIN is Ontario's flagship initiative for automotive and mobility innovation. Its mission is to create a regionally diverse network of electric vehicles and connected and autonomous vehicle technologies. The impact has been significant. Hundreds of companies supported, thousands of jobs created or retained. Strong levels of industry co-investment and follow-on investments have been generated, as you can see on the slides. The key point is you do not have to be a traditional automotive company to be a part of the mobility system. If your AI technology solution helps vehicles, fleets, infrastructure, logistics, charging, safety, autonomy of or mobility systems work better, OVIN might be a pathway to explore. We move to the next slide. Thank you. This slide breaks down OVIN scope through the CASE framework. CASE stands for Connected, Autonomous, Shared, and Electrified. Let me translate that into AI business terms. Connected vehicles create more data. AI can help with data interpretation. Autonomous systems require perception, sensors fusion, localization. AI is central to all of that. Shared mobility, again, depends upon optimization, route forecasting, pricing, fleet management. Again, a place where AI can play a major role. And electrification depends upon charging, power management, supply chain infrastructures. AI can again support that. So if you're in the audience thinking, we are not a car company, that might be okay. But the question is, does your technology support the future of mobility? That is the broader lens I would encourage you to look at. You can see the different types of projects that we support through OVIN under the CASE framework. So we move to the next one. We move to the next slide. Perfect. Thank you. this is a dense slide, so I'll try and simplify it as much as I can. Open has different program streams depending on the type of project. Some streams support larger integration and demonstration projects. These are usually for Ontario SMEs working with a partner that has a real market pull. The key phrase here is market pull. It means that there's a real customer, a partner, or a deployment that needs the project. For AI, this is critical. A strong funding application is usually not just that we want to build a model. For us, it is we have a clear business problem, a real use case, a partner or a customer need, and a plan to test and deploy the solution. Oven has some smaller rolling intake streams that and talent development support. So depending upon the project, support may relate to the demonstration, integration, adoption, or talent. For businesses in the room, the key takeaway is if your technology is connected to mobility, EVs, smart transportation, or autonomous systems, think about whether you have a real-world deployment partner. That partner can make your project much stronger and potentially unlock open funding for you. So to summarize the first section, we can offer support through different points in your journey. R4M may be an early fifth stage, early investment for companies raising capital, so is life sciences. Open may be a fit for AI companies and technologies in the connected mobility space that are looking to deploy the solutions further. With that, this is where the next set of programs become important. So I'll pass it over here and I'll pause it over here, pass it over to my colleague Ashni, who will walk you through the programs that support collaborative development, digital adoption, and critical technologies. Ashni, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sid. And to the audience, again, very happy to be here today. Apologies for the little bit of congestion in my voice. Hopefully you can still hear okay. So the first program that I will be talking about is called Collaborate to Commercialize, or C2C for short. And essentially what this program does is it funds projects that are done in collaboration between companies and academic institutions. So if you're a company who are looking to work with a PI at a Ontario-based college or university, in some cases even at an Ontario-based health institution as well, Collaborate to Commercialize can be something that you tap into. This is one of our most sought after programs, just given the fact that it can really help companies who are early in their R&D process, but also who are looking to scale their R&D as well. And you can see some of the significant outcomes that we've achieved in the 2024 to 2025 year as well. Just last year, we were able to support 125 companies, and we've seen about $7.7 million in co-investment from our industry and from partners. Now, there are a couple of criteria for eligibility that companies must meet in order to apply for this program. The first is that companies must be incorporated for at least 2 years, and they must have at least 5 full-time employees as well. And really the rationale here is just to show that there is a good case for financial feasibility in order to support the project, as all funds do funnel through the academic institution or the hospital. And so interesting here that I think some of you might be keen to know is that we actually have 3 calls for C2C applications. So we have one open call. This is for companies that are working across any industry, any sector. If you're looking to tap into kind of our general open call stream, we can support project budgets up to $350K. And OCI comes in sort of at a 2-to-1 match. Where 50% of the company's contribution to the project is cash and 50% is sort of spent at the company. So really a significant reduction in the financial means to do research with an academic institution. We have 2 separate calls that are focused on defense for C2C, which is quite interesting and of course timely with the nation's priorities as well. And these calls are in partnership with NSERC. So if you are a company who is looking to pursue a research project in collaboration with a university, the NSERC Alliance stream would be a good fit for you, where the max project budget that we can support is 150K. And then if you are looking to do a collaboration with an Ontario-based college, the NSERC ARD stream is the fit that you would be looking for, where the max project budget that we can support is 120K. So again, C2C, it really does support companies who are near to commercialization, really helping them get ready for that. So if that's where you are in your journey, I'd consider tapping into C2C and reaching out for more information. The next sort of bucket of funding programs that I want to highlight fall within our Digital Competence Center, or DCC for short. And really what these streams of funding are able to do is to support companies who are looking to enhance their digital literacy. They're looking to maybe adopt a new digital strategy. They're looking to identify a gap in their operations, and are really looking to enhance their company's efficiency, optimize their workflows, and of course, increase sales, revenue, things like that. Again, a pretty successful year that we had last year that we're also on route to achieve similar metrics for this year. Last year, we were able to support 148 companies, and we saw a co-investment of around 6.7 million from our industries, or from industry and from partners. Now, there are three programs that I want to highlight within the DCC bucket of funding, all three which are open for applications currently. I believe DCC kind of had their open call about a month or 2 months ago, so still relatively new. A lot of really good funding to tap into if you're interested. So the first funding program that I want to talk about is called Digital Modernization and Adoption Plan, or DMAP for short. You can tell that we operate on a lot of acronyms here. But DMAP, essentially what it does is it supports companies with up to $15,000 in reimbursement funds for them to be able to work with a consultant to develop a digital strategy for their business. So really, if you, of course, I know that I'm speaking to an AI focused group here, but let's say there is a gap within your company that you're looking to work with a consultant to bridge, you're looking for that external support, we can provide reimbursement funds to help you go out and develop a strategy with that consultant. Now, the way that I like to look at some of these programs here is in different streams, where DMAP and TDP are stream 1 and stream 2 of kind of a bucket of funding that companies can tap into. So for companies that have gone through DMAP, who have a strategy on how to implement a digital strategy that has been developed by the consultant, they are eligible to apply for the Technology Demonstration Project, or the TDP funding, which provides up to $50,000 in reimbursement funds for now adopting or integrating that plan into their business. So really what we're aiming to do here is, yes, provide companies with the opportunity to identify where a gap may be and to identify a path forward for their company in order to fill that digital gap, but also to provide them with the resources to action things. Because at the end of the day, if you aren't able to actually build that new efficiency within your business, then it doesn't really help your operation. So that's really what stream 1 and stream 2, what DMAP and TDP aim to do. Now, OCI does have a list of approved consultants and vendors that companies can tap into. So that's another way that we try to kind of reduce the barrier for companies. So if you're interested, we have a roster that you can take a look at. But of course, if there's another organization that you would like to work with to support you on DMAP or TDP, then that's something that you can let us know, and we can go through a separate vetting process. Now, the last fund in this bucket that I will highlight, it may not be relevant to any of you on the call, but I'm going to mention it just in case there are folks in your network that I may be relevant to. And it is called our Retail Modernization Project Grant. This is for non-chain, non-franchise brick and mortar stores who are looking to adopt a new digital technology, where we provide grants of up to $5,000 for them to do so. So again, I won't go into detail because it may not be as relevant for all of you, but if you know folks who might be interested, feel free to spread the word there. Now, the final pool of funding that I will be talking about fall within our CIT initiative, or what's called our Critical Industrial Technologies Initiative. And really what these bucket of programs aim to do is to support companies who are looking to adopt a critical technology into their operations. Now, the critical technologies, as written on screen, they include 5G, AI, blockchain, cybersecurity, quantum, and robotics. And this really supports companies who are working in four key sectors: advanced manufacturing, construction, mining, and agriculture and food. Another really significant program given the breadth of sectors and technologies that they support. Now, there are 5 specific programs within the CIT initiative that I will just lightly touch. We have the talent development internships, which is where companies can get subsidized support to bring on an intern anywhere from someone who is in their senior year of undergrad all the way through to postdoc. Interns or incumbents don't have to be currently registered in their studies. They can be recently graduated as well, and they can work for short-term periods with the company. We have the Future Ready program. This is where we provide a match funding to companies who are looking to upskill or reskill employees on their team to address a technology gap. We also have the Technology Access Program for companies who are looking to validate their solution in a real world facility. So for example, we have about 8 to 10 different technology development sites, as we call them. So 8 to 10 different partnerships with um, different kind of research centers and technology centers that companies can get access to through the Technology Access Program. For example, we have a partnership with NORCAT for companies who are operating in the mining space. We have a partnership with Lambton College's a center for AI and advanced manufacturing for companies who are working in that space. We have a partnership with Evergreen for companies who are working in construction, and several others as well, all of which are listed on our website. So if you're looking to test and pilot your solution and technology in a real world setting with a partner, this is a program that you could potentially tap into in future. We have the development and commercialization program, which is very similar to the technology access program. However, in addition to access to the technology development site, companies also get access to funding. And then we have the sector adoption program, which is where there's essentially an open call for companies to innovate in a particular area. It's an open challenge statement, and companies, if accepted, can essentially get access to resources and funding in order to build tech within whatever the theme is for the challenge statement. Now, something that I want to call specific attention to is the Future Ready program that I just mentioned, because unfortunately, of all of the 5, or fortunately, of all of the 5 programs that I just mentioned, Future Ready is the only one that is currently open, as we have dispersed all of the funding in the other program streams. So for Future Ready, this again, it's for companies who want to upskill or reskill their employees in adopting a critical tech. We provide up to $10,000 in matched funding for companies to do this. There's no minimum or maximum in terms of the number of employees that can be trained. So really, there's quite flexibility here. We have, again, a list of approved vendors and trainers that we can connect companies with. However, if you are connected to an organization already that you'd like to work with, there's a simple vetting process, vetting form that we go through, because we understand that maybe we don't have access to the needs that you're looking for, but either way, we will do our best to support you here. Again, this is the only program of the CIT initiative that is open for applications. We do hope that it will renew at some point in the future, but we have no further details on that at this time. And if you're interested, please feel free to connect with us. Now, I believe that is not my final slide. The final slide that I'd like to highlight is the one here on screen that where the QR code that you see brings you to the registration page for our Discovery X event. Every year we host a premier innovation event called Discovery X. It takes place next year, 2027 at the Enercare Center. Some of you might have attended before. If you have, then you know how exciting and thrilling it can be. We have the entire show floor with partners and companies, investors, academics, etc. So it's a really great opportunity for companies to attend and to be immersed in the ecosystem in Ontario. It's quite, I'd say, niche in that perspective, where you have stakeholders from all across the province who come together to see how we can collaborate. So if you're interested in registering, please see the link on screen. You can currently register. That's how on the ball we are about this. And there's a lot of really great opportunities. We have something called Ask an Investor, and this is where companies can take advantage of meeting with investors that we have lined up over the 2 days. We essentially will pair companies with investors to speak to them for about 10-minute appointments, and companies can have multiple appointments over the 2 days. If you're interested in a booth, in exhibiting at the conference as well, that's something that we can connect you with, and we can work together to create kind of a personalized package for you. So I will leave it there. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. I'll pass it back over to you, Caitlin, and we'll go into some Q&A.
Hi, perfect. Thank you so much, Ashni and Siddhant. That was great. So yeah, we do have a good chunk of questions that have come in here. So let's start off at the top. So this one, I believe, was for the Oven specifically application. So, and correct me if I'm wrong for the person who put this question in, but I believe it was in regards to that. So is this applicable to power sports like motorcycles and snowmobiles?
I can take that. Open essentially is applicable for any company that develops products that helps in the mobility of goods or people on Ontario roads and railways. So power sports, snowmobiles would all be a fit.
Okay,
It really
fantastic.
depends what is the technology, what is the innovation you're trying to bring, and then even more critical is who is the partner who's supporting this particular innovation.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And then the next one, so I believe there's a couple questions kind of, I think, similar in the sense of asking about, are any of these applicable to nonprofit or private universities? Like, is it eligible? So I suppose, any of them applicable to nonprofits or private universities?
All of our funding programs are specifically for companies, for for-profit incorporated companies, SMEs. So anything that's under 500 employees and working in Ontario. But the way universities can get involved is, like, say, for instance, if you find an opportunity or if you find a company partner who's willing to partner up with you to carry out some of the research aspects for them, then that's where the Collaborate to Commercialize program can fit in.
Okay, fantastic. And then question here, so for DMAP, can the person, so a company, choose a consultant that they've already worked with? Or does it,
Uh,
I guess, does it have to be a consultant that's chosen?
Ashley, do you want to take that one?
Sure. I believe the answer to this is yes. You can choose a consultant that you have already worked with, as long as they are not, they don't have kind of a stake in the company, and their relations are external to the business. As
Also,
long
one,
and sorry, go ahead. And
yeah,
as long as they are approved through our vetting process, if they're not already listed. So we have a document like a roster. So for companies who are interested, you can always connect with me. I can share that with you. If the company you've worked with is not on that roster, we'll just have to go through our separate vetting process.
Next question. Are there any programs that support solo funders who are looking to get research partners to validate a business idea?
unfortunately, at OCI, we won't have any such funds to fund solo funders because most of our funding programs where you can collaborate with researchers, they essentially kick in once you're at a stage where you've been incorporated for 2 years and have 5 full-time employees. But for those folks who are solo funders who are looking to work with the researcher to collaborate with the pro to collaborate with on to validate a business idea, I would highly, highly recommend reaching out to the folks at the National Science Engineering Research Council, or NSERC, or MITAX. Essentially, both these programs can fund companies at an earlier stage. They can connect you with researchers, and for every dollar you put in, they can match you with multiple other dollars. And this is all non-dilutive.
Great. And there's a question that just came in actually regarding the consultant. I think that question that we just answered. So, does the company providing services, the consultant, have to be headquartered in Ontario, or could a Montreal headquartered company with offices in Ontario be considered a consultant and obtain funding?
Till the time they go through the process, they become a certified consultant who are on a roster of consultants, they'd be fine. Then you can work with them. But for any consultant who's not on the roster, first they need to go through that entire process of getting themselves approved.
Okay. And so for the CIT Talent Development Internship Program, this is asking about, can a private university also apply? So I'm assuming answer for that is no.
Yes, it needs to be a publicly funded college or university. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So one here, majority of our team are contractors, so we tend to be shut out of these fundings for not having FTEs, so full-time employees. Are there any insights into that? Or maybe do you guys know of any, I suppose, other areas that they could apply for?
See, for most of our funding programs, other than the investment funds, the requirements there, like it's generally those are the type of companies we see. Companies that have been incorporated for 2 years have 5 full-time employees. Because other than that, we have that in requirement in our TPAs with the government. So those are the companies we look for. So it's only the investment funds where this might work out. But even on the investment funds, before the investment committee makes a decision, a major question or contention is that how big is the team? How are they working together? Will they stick around? Like we're looking at an overall investment into a company. So the team at especially at pre-seed seed stage is generally the team that we look for the most.
Right, absolutely, yeah. One coming in here, if we already have an AI product which is in the testing phase, which is the best program for commercialization and further fund options for further development?
Again, this goes back to what stage you are in, what sort of funding, what sort of testing are you looking at? Is it a multi-million dollar testing that you're doing, or is it a multi-million dollar deployment that you're looking in a particular sector? Like say, for instance, if you're in the mobility sector, you're testing this product out with a Canadian Tire, then sure, then that's a fit. But if you are still like bringing on early adopters to see how the platform works, then we won't have any funding at that point of time.
Okay. And I actually have a question about, so can this OCI funding, and maybe it's different per kind of stream of funding, is it able to be stacked with other federal funding or other programs? Or is that something that people should think about, that like, are some of them, they are solo, you can't have other funding in place, or do they stack with other funding pretty much across the board?
Generally, for most of our OCI programs, they're non-stackable. So for every investment we make, we want private sector investment to follow on. So if we are doing $150,000 in investment, we'd want you to put $150,000 of your own money. So that money cannot be that, okay, fine, we're getting additional funds from NGen or one of the other super clusters, and that's the money we plan to use. That's not how this would work.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions before I kind of, I might have ask about reporting for anybody that wants to come in? And there's a question in here, could we share the email address to send future questions? Absolutely. So I will be sending a follow-up email, and that will include our speakers' emails to be able to reach out to. But also, if it's an inquiry for anything that like I can also help and lead through, that'll be at wtc@bot.com that you can send to. Okay, so I had a question. So, and obviously each stream is going to be probably a little bit different for reporting. But I think that might be something for people to capture is the density of the reporting. What is the expectation for companies in terms of like, how that's going to look like? Maybe just kind of an idea for people, because I know that that can sometimes be quite intimidating.
Perfect. No, that's a great point, Cecilia. Other than the investment funds and the talent development funds, rest all of our funds, those are the only two funds that we put beforehand, right? We give in advance. So, but with those funds, your requirement is like on the investment funds till the time we don't exit our stake. You fill out a report every 6 months. So this report generally captures out the metrics like new jobs created, new funds available, what's the valuation of the company, and things like that. How many new employees are there in the company? What are the new products you've launched? But for our other programs, these essentially work on reimbursement basis. So like say for instance on the DC program, there's only one report at the end of the 6 month period where you send out all the eligible expenses that you've incurred over the process of your project. And if these are in line with what you'd initially claimed in your application, then we'll reimburse you the money. Similarly, for the other bigger ones like the Open Stream 2, where we go up to $1 million in funding, these are generally 2 year long projects. So the expectation is every 6 months or every quarter, depending on the company, what they feel fit, they can fill out these reports and get the money reimbursed. But once your project's done and completed on all the reimbursements been done, after that, there's no reporting.
Okay, good to know. And so I looks like so far no questions have come in, but maybe as a kind of like lead us out and or tips like that. I'm wondering if there's anything that you would suggest to companies like who are maybe this is their first time applying for something, certain maybe like things to look out for that you notice are kind of big mistakes, maybe typical costly mistakes that companies make when applying, things to kind of look out for and make sure that they do. So just like some tips for applications and making sure that they absolutely have these things that you've seen common mistakes that have happened.
See, the one common mistake, and again, Ashley, feel free to chime in. In my experience, I've been with the organization for over 3 years. In my experience, you don't need grant writers for OCI funds.
Okay.
This is exactly why you've got me, Ashley, and my entire team here, because we can help you guide, we can guide you through the entire application process, whether it's writing the proposal, even reviewing your proposal, providing you with feedback on your proposal. So again, at the end of the day, you don't need additional grant writers. Just work with the business development managers or the sector managers that you have at OCI. They'll be your best guide. They'll be able to guide you through the entire funding project. Ashley.
I think for myself, it's really having a clear idea of what you're hoping the funding will help you unlock in terms of your business milestones, because that can really help the application writing be a lot easier, and even conversations with us. We have so many opportunities at OCI to support companies, and really it's about finding what can help you in the best way. And so if you are really clear about what you want to achieve for your business within a certain time period, we can help kind of match you to the best program that can help you do that, and hopefully will help increase your chances for success as well. And another thing also to kind of seek out opportunities maybe before you need them, just to have a introductory call with us, so we can get to know you and build a relationship and really support you when the time is right. So that's it.
Yeah, actually, on that note, I think the question that just came in maybe is also kind of similar to that, where it's like I think booking a call to have this understanding, because the question says, so, running a recruitment agency for the past 4 years, want to upscale the digitalization, such as adopting AI tools for recruitment and CRM system. Are there any funding to support that? And so I think, based on what you guys have said too, it depends on kind of the project, the scope, where it's going, what stage they're at. And so maybe that, kind of requires a call, but also feel free to kind of touch on anything.
Yeah, definitely. I know this is anonymous, but I think potentially one of the programs within our DCC bucket of funding could support, but we need to know kind of more information on kind of the company, kind of what you're looking for. So definitely reach out anyone who's interested in learning more to have a chat with Sid and myself.
Excellent. Okay, well, it looks like so far no other questions coming in. And as I mentioned to everybody, you're more than welcome to one, you'll be receiving the email so you can reach out to them directly and get some, one-on-one support there, or reach out to us at wtc@bot.com. And, while we're going ahead here, I will, one, say a huge thank you to our speakers for today. That's a great presentation, lots of information to take in here. I'm going to share my screen and just talk on some of the closing. So feel free if anybody has some lingering questions, because we do have still 10 minutes, but I am gonna, do some closing out slides as well as sending out a survey. So Let me share my screen here. And as you know, I've already mentioned this, but I will say again, recording and slides will be in the follow-up email. So please, you will be receiving those later. Some upcoming events. One big one, as you can see, I have really highlighted it here, is our Leaders in Export Excellence event that is going to be on July 16th. This is really a huge, event to celebrate. A good chunk of our companies have gone through programming. There's an award ceremony, and then it's also an exhibitors booths, which if your company is interested, you can apply to be an exhibitor at this event. And so then you can showcase products and services, whatever you have to showcase. It's been very successful in our past couple years that we've done it. And also just, attending. There's going to be not only our SMBs that are going to be attending, but also all of our partners, lots of different people who are going to be in the mix here. And actually, I think Maria Grazia or Vinny, if you're still on here, if you could pop that link in the chat, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, it will be in the follow-up email, so please do check it out. But very exciting stuff there. So we would love to have you attend. And even if you haven't done other programming with us, it's a great chance, an opportunity to meet the people who have been a part of it. Next, for some different types of programming, we do have our growth development program that September that I mentioned is coming up, so you can apply for that. It is the criteria to apply is companies that are 5 million and above, which is one, as well as it's looking at C-suite level, founders, things like that, who would be a part of the program. And then we also have our Trade Accelerator program that we're doing in partnership with the City of Toronto, and so that is open and available to apply. As I mentioned, it'll be in the follow-up, and that is starting August 26th. So you can learn more and register through bot.com/events. And there's also an AI readiness assessment that we offer. It just gives you the 15-minute assessment to discover kind of where you are in your AI success and what you're looking at here. So I know that can be very helpful and handy for people to kind of understand where they're at. And I think as of right now, obviously people are doing pretty well in their AI journeys. Now I see, great. Thank you so much, Maria Gracia and Vinny. Appreciate that. Lastly, I'm going to send out a survey in our chat for today's webinar. So let us know feedback, things that you want to hear about in the future, how we did today. We are always looking for ways to improve and understand what people kind of want to learn about next, but also how we did today. Other than that, I'm just double checking. I think that is everything that we have for today. So again, if you have lingering questions, please do reach out. But otherwise, thank you so much for attending today's session. We really appreciate it. And we hope to see you in the next one. So bye, everyone.
Thank you.